Hey everyone, welcome back to Kelsel's Arcade with Rob and Lily. And in this video we're not going to do the usual cabinet review, but what we will do is go through our top 10 beat 'em up games. Now this was incredibly difficult to do. The first thing we said was this is going to be a sideways scrolling beat 'em up game, so we're not going to include things like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. You saw the 10 games on the video intro, but what order would we rank them in? Let's get started with number 10. Okay, so in number 10 spot we have Robocop 2, which was created in the arcade by Data East. A lot of people will remember this also on the Amiga and other home computers produced by Ocean. But obviously we're reviewing the arcade version here. There were a lot of games we could have put in the number 10 spot. There's so many, too many to mention here in fact. But we really liked Robocop 2. It's a fun game, it's got some extra features over and above the initial Robocop. The sprites are bigger. For us it's just a more fun game to play. Arguably, yes, you should put Robocop, the original, in here, but we decided to go with Robocop 2. So this released by Data East in the arcade back in 1990. So I'm going to play through the first level here. Just in the interest of time I'm going to speed it up in places, just so it doesn't take too long, but just want to show you through to the end boss on level 1. Okay, so in at number 9 we have The Punisher. Now I do like this game a lot, and I would have this higher up, but of course we're compiling the list here between myself and my 9-year-old daughter, so The Punisher, not a character that she's into, but Obviously we're looking at gameplay as well. Not one of her favourites, so it's coming a little lower down. This is obviously a Capcom game. You don't need to Google to find that out. You can just look at the graphics and you can see straight away very similar kind of look and feel to the Final Fight series and others. Fantastic release by Capcom, and again there were so many titles we could have put in this list. I think you could easily do a top 10 beat 'em up games just by Capcom alone. So try and mix things up a little bit here. We really liked The Punisher, released by Capcom in 1993. Lots of cool special effects in this game, really pushing the graphics at the time, and a lot of fun to play with some replay value as well. And just to show the gameplay here, we're going to play level 1. Note that The Punisher is available on the arcade 1-up cabinet Marvel Superheroes, if you can get hold of that. We don't have that cabinet, so for the purposes of this video we're just playing this through an emulator on retropie running on a Pi 4. Okay, so in at number 8 we have Alien vs Predator. Not in the top 10 is Aliens, and it was really a toss-up here in 8th spot between Aliens by Konami, released in 1990, or Alien vs Predator, released in 1994 by Capcom. Two games are both excellent, played both through many times, but we just felt that the Alien vs Predator, the 3-player in the arcade, just a 2-player here running on an emulator on the modded Mortal Kombat system, but still this is a fantastic game, another Capcom in our top 10, and one we think you should definitely have a play on. And we'll play through a little bit of the first level here just to give you an idea of the gameplay. Alright, so in at number 7 we have the third Capcom title in our top 10, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. This was released in April of 1993 by Capcom, and I gotta say, we had not played this before putting this list together. I was chatting to, and shout out here to Ivan Solis on the official Arcade 1-Up site on Facebook. Ivan had mentioned that this should definitely be in the top 10. We played it for a little bit, and we totally agree. We actually had to bump something out of our top 10 to make room, but this is a fantastic game and we like it a lot. So let's show you a little bit of the gameplay here. I'll increase the speed just a touch, just in the interest of trying to keep the video as short as possible. Alright, so in at number 6 we have the first non-Capcom title for a little bit. The awesome Sunset Riders, released in 1991 by Konami. This was also released on various other platforms such as the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. This is obviously the arcade version we're taking a look at here, running on an emulator. It's actually based on the same fight system as Turtles, and I realise that some of you may say, well, this is a shoot 'em up, it's not a beat 'em up. It's released on the same platform as Turtles. We're going to include it, it's one of our favourite games. So let's show you a bit of the gameplay.
Please continue.
Marry me with my money.
Sticking with Konami at number 5 is the awesome The Simpsons. Now, of course, this is not available in an arcade 1-up system, so we're also emulating here. But shout out to A1UP, if you make this cabinet, we will buy it immediately. We love this game, and it is worthy of the number 5 spot. I'll just let the intro run out here for you, and then we'll get into some gameplay. Okay, so in at number 4 is the amazing Golden Axe, running here on our arcade 1-up cabinet. Golden Axe released in 1989, and The Revenge of Death Adder, also on this cabinet, released in 92. So for the purposes of this top 10, we're going to give credit to Golden Axe just because it's the original, but I do want to just show you a little bit of the Revenge of Death Adder also on this cabinet just because it's awesome. Gotta say, I was so tempted to actually say, you know what, Revenge of Death Adder is going to come in at number 4. But no, we'll stick to our guns here. Golden Axe in at number 4. And with that, let's move on to our number 3 spot. Alright, so in our number 3 spot, we have the amazing Final Fight, released in 1989 by Capcom. A controversial decision here to put this as number 3. Personally, I think Final Fight is the original de facto beat 'em up for Capcom and would therefore put it at number 1. But in the interest of making a decision here with my daughter, it's in at number 3 for what it's worth. One of my favourite games of all time. Absolutely love this game. Playing here, of course, on the Arcade 1-Up cabinet, which I managed to pick up for 199 bucks from Walmart. Do need to make some modifications to this though, want to get the light up marquee for it, but the game doesn't make any difference to the game. The game is awesome. So back to name for our number 2 spot, the excellent Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Released by Sega in 1990 and based on the 1988 movie Moonwalker. Jackson himself actually had a hand in developing this game with Sega. Again, you could argue really just for the nostalgia that Final Fight really should be higher than this, but ultimately a game is about having fun, and this is something that myself and my daughter have a lot of fun playing. You can see that Michael Jackson helped with this, the production, the music. It really is a well-produced, fun game, and that's why it takes our number 2 spot. Alright, so in number one spot is the awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, released in 1989 by Konami. Again, I think you can argue that there are other beat 'em up games that you might put in number one spot, but really what we're trying to do here with this top 10 is just show some variety across a number of awesome games that were released in the late 80s and into the early 90s. It was a fantastic time for gaming. There were so many great games. It really has been hard to compile this list. Let's take a look at a little bit of the gameplay here. We're playing on an arcade 1-up system, 4-player console, home arcade edition here. Excellent fun, whether you play in a 2-player mode or a 4-player mode. This is great fun for all the family and we've really enjoyed having it. So just before we wrap up and go ahead and look at some of the games that we didn't include in the top 10, the honourable mentions if you will, I just want to point out that while we put Turtles in number one spot from just a fun gameplay perspective, that doesn't mean that Konami is our number one publisher. I think Capcom, if you look at the variety of different beat-em-ups that they were able to release from the original Final Fight platform, I think you have to say that Capcom, as far as publishers go, is number one. Konami a close second, followed by Sega, and then Data East for me. They're obviously the publishers that we had in here. There are others too. And please do comment beneath the video if you have games that we haven't thought of that you would add in your top 10. Let us know, it'd be cool to see. So thanks everybody for watching. I know this was quite a long video, but hopefully you enjoyed, whether you agreed or disagreed. Please do add in the comments if there are games that we missed out. But let's talk about what we did miss out. We actually had a list of 20 games that we were trying to pick from. That was our initial shortlist. Some of the games that were missed from that were things like Double Dragon, released in 1987 by Technos, and then later republished by Sega and Nintendo. A couple of additional Data East games, the original Robocop also released in 1987, and Night Slashers in 1993. Remember that one, Lily? We played that yesterday. No? The one where you beat up zombies.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, so we nearly added that one in. What else? Alien Storm, released in 1990 by Sega. I was 50-50 whether to put Streets of Rage into the top 10. I love that game, but technically it was a Sega Genesis game and not really ever released as a proper arcade game. There was a release in 1991 by Megatech, which allowed you to kind of play the game on a time basis for putting money in, but it wasn't a proper coin-op, so we couldn't include that, but we'll give it a mention. Aliens, the original Aliens, released by Konami in 1990, As I said, I was unsure whether to put that in versus Alien vs Predator or not. Both great games. Also X-Men, again by Konami, 1992, fantastic game. And then a bunch more games from Capcom. So Armored Warriors, released in 1994, Warriors of Fate and Knights of the Round, all on that Final Fight platform, as well as of course Final Fight 2 and 3. So just so many games to include here. Easily do a top 20 with those 10 favourable mentions. But let's just leave you with a final honourable mention for Double Dragon. Double Dragon was an awesome game. There's just so much that came after it that was better. But I feel like we couldn't end the video without showing you some gameplay from Double Dragon. Thanks for watching, and like and leave us some comments if you like the video. Thanks.